Subscribe now for daily United Kingdom entertainment news. Ranking The Rock's best catchphrases in WWE. The Rock is one of the greatest talkers in pro wrestling history, and he has given us countless memorable moments. The Great One's return to WWE and subsequent heel turn has easily been one of the highlights of the year so far. We've seen him appear in street clothes before just to return to his career as a Hollywood star, but this has been different. It's hard to describe the euphoric feeling that washed over many longtime fans as he walked out onto the entrance ramp wearing a Versace vest and gold chains again on the February 16th episode of SmackDown. Suddenly, we were 12-year-old kids standing in front of our TVs again, waiting for the most electrifying man in sports entertainment to say something outrageous and conduct the crowd as they repeated his catchphrases. If you grew up in the 90s, you probably routinely tried to mimic his cadence and mannerisms and parrot his most iconic one-liners. However, there is only one Dwayne Johnson, and few can match his impact on a microphone. The WWE legend has more catchphrases than any wrestler. Earlier this month, the new member of TKO's board of directors earned the trademark rights to many of his signature insults and sayings. The 51-year-old is a pop culture phenomenon, and his greatest barbs and nicknames have transcended professional wrestling. Let's rank his 5 best catchphrases. Like many of his best running gags, this recognizable line started during his storied heel turn, which completely changed the trajectory of his career. The Rock would ironically declare that he had millions of fans even though his initial push made him one of the most hated superstars on the roster. In the process, the third-generation wrestler gradually won crowds over and willed this funny assertion into existence. The quote eventually became one of the most effective call-and-response phrases in his arsenal. So much so that it's hard to remember a time when he said it, and the crowd didn't universally scream out, and millions, in return. Of all his catchphrases, this one has prevailed as proof of his unwavering connection with the live audience. No Rock promo is complete without arguably the most recognizable opening line in sports entertainment. Hyperbole is one of the hallmarks of his character, and his best moments with a microphone in hand. None of his other catchphrases perfectly encapsulate both the pompous and braggadocious sneer of his heel persona and the unmistakable appeal of the people's champion. Think about how he flipped it on the Delta Center during the closing segment of the February 16th episode of SmackDown. "Finally, your life has meaning," he said. "Finally, you and your 50 wives will have a story to tell. You'll have a story to tell your 600 inbred grandchildren one day. And that is what it's like to look at greatness in the flesh because finally, The Rock has come back to Salt Lake City." At his worst, it's a hilarious way to taunt a contentious crowd and stand above them as the star they should praise, even in a town he had never been. As a returning megastar. "Finally," followed by a dramatic pause to soak up his well-earned adulation, always lands on the deafening audience as he addresses their hometown. The Rock was an influential figure during the Attitude Era, and laid the SmackDown as a testament to his impact on pro wrestling and pop culture. The legendary superstar coined the term SmackDown in 1998 to describe the beating he would give his opponents, and the rest is history. In the following year, it became the title of WWE's second ongoing weekly series, which led to a popular video game franchise of the same name. On July 10, 2007, Merriam-Webster added it to the English dictionary, cementing its place in mundane vocabulary. It's surreal to think about how this single word vastly changed the company over the last 25 years. More to the point, it's a term people outside the wrestling bubble immediately understand. The Rock had the Midas touch in the 90s, and "Lay the SmackDown" isn't even his most well-known catchphrase. This dismissive retort has given us some of the funniest moments of The Rock's career. The Great One popularized this barb, and it has been a part of many of his highlights inside and outside the right. How many times has he set someone up to unceremoniously cut them off with, "It doesn't matter," or stopped them in mid-thought? Who could forget the first time the Brahma Bull crossed paths with Booker T or Chris Jericho's WWE debut? The Samoan star terrorized Michael Cole and famously refused to finish his count as the special guest referee of Triple H vs. British Bulldog from the September 30th, 1999 episode of SmackDown. "It doesn't matter if The Rock counts to 3, he yelled, costing the challenger the title before he delivered the people's elbow in dress shoes. Bill Gates even fell victim to this one-liner, as he unveiled the Xbox in his keynote announcement at CES in 2001. The catchphrase also inspired the first single from Wyclef Jean's second studio album, The Eclectic, Two Sides to a Book. The Rock lent his vocals to the song and appeared in the music video. "If you smell what The Rock is cooking," is among the greatest wrestling catchphrases of all time. "Finally, The Rock has come back," is the opening salvo, and this iconic line is an exclamation point at the end of an experience only one superstar can provide. As stated earlier, everyone has tried to do an impression of the Great One, speaking in first person and trying to raise one eyebrow. Copying his delivery and bravado on this line brought it all together. The 51-year-old is synonymous with his unique way of saying "Are you feeling what I'm laying down?" It's his most popular and prevailing one-liner to this day. In truth, this line is a quintessential summary of The Rock's pro wrestling career. The Hollywood star could say something nonsensical, but he said it with such conviction and unmatched charisma that it caught on. His zingers didn't always hit the mark, but he often felt undeniable because of his unmistakable presence and star power.